get it, let's get it, let's get it, let's get it, let's get it. As one Crookshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking in for a daily Move Swiftly thought, giving your perspective on teamwork that you will not get anywhere else. Another refreshing run, solid 8 miles put in today with good solid lift at the beginning, so felt good. The weather cooler on a cooler day out here in South Florida. Don't like to use the term cold. It relates to Florida because I grew up in the Northeast, so that's real cold. You're not allowed to say cold out here. All right, so today's Tuesday, March 18th, Tuesday, 2025. Top 5 Tuesday, as we do every single Tuesday. We go Top 5 Tuesday, and this weekend I actually had the time to watch the movie 1992 by Tyrese. It was such an incredible. Now I'll dive deeper into this on the live stream, but it was such a great pleasure in terms of viewership and viewing, seeing that I was born in 1989. I grew up, like I mentioned, in the Northeast, and I only heard stories about the LA riots, but I was never really incentivized to hear more, learn more about it. And it brings me to today's top 5, which is the top 5 reasons why history lessons, whether you're talking about history lessons in the school or history lessons in the home, just history lessons in general, they need to be relative. They need to start by being relative to the actual student, and you need to be working towards making sure each curriculum, each lesson is relative to the student. All right, so reason number 1 is sort of like what I just explained, is because you never know what's being emphasized in the home of the actual student. You don't know the kinds of things that are going on in the home and what's being reinforced in the home, right? Like what's being told to the young man or the young woman when they leave school, about Christopher Columbus, about this, about all these holidays that people get, but the history, you don't know what's being reinforced in the home. Which brings me to point number 2, which is you don't know what's important. You don't know what's important. You get a better idea of what's important to the actual student when you make it relative to them. So 1 and 2 is you don't know what's being reinforced in the home, and you don't know what is actually important to the person's history in terms of what it is they're going to do, what it is they're all about. And as usual, I'll explain this in detail when I do the live stream today. But number 3 is really one of the more important ones. I think they're all important, but number 3 is a reason why this issue actually is a problem, is these tenured teachers. All right, these tenured teachers, tenured educators that go and they get some fancy degree, they get some educator license, whatever it is they want to call themselves, and all they do is go by the book, and they teach in a way in which they're only memorizing certain things for a certain test, and they make history lessons not as important as they actually are. All right, tenured teachers can be a huge issue when it comes to this. All right, and also to that point, you don't know. My apologies, I got cut off there. All right, so after tenured teachers, all of this, making history relative and things like that, it all leads to a stronger family, stronger family ties when it comes to what they're teaching, what they're emphasizing in the home. All of that leads to stronger family. And number 5, you don't want history repeating itself. You don't want the mistakes, the difficult things that happen in a person's past. You don't want them repeating themselves. If there's a situation in which they have to be aware of, it's easy to repeat themselves. So again, as always, I will dive deeper into this on the live stream today, but today we're discussing the top 5 reasons why history lessons ought to be relative. Number 1, you don't know what's being reinforced in the home. Number 2, you don't know what's actually important. But 3, these tenured teachers that just, teach kids to memorize certain things for a certain test so they can keep their jobs. Number 4, it strengthens the families in the home. And number 5, you don't want history repeating itself, especially if it's a mistake or something that happened. All right. All that being said, main website to check out to dive deeper into everything I'm doing, makeyourmove.com. That's MakeYeamove.com. One-stop shop for all your teamwork and your self-development needs. As one Crookshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking out. You guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.